Hi, I'm Jay Rhoades with Denison Yachting. Today we'd like to welcome you aboard LESTIQUE, a 64 offshore Voyager built in 2009. Offshore yachts are known for their build quality and for having the softest ride on the water. LESTIQUE is a true deepwater cruiser with a range of over 1,000 nautical miles. She features 3 ensuite staterooms and a main deck dayhead, which is a very rare feature for a 64-foot boat. Over the next 10 to 15 minutes, my colleague Ryan will walk you through the entire boat, and if you like what you see, please reach out to me directly.
After our sea trial today, I talked with the owner for a bit about this boat and what drew him towards this over something else. And while there are a lot of things that I could immediately point out about this world-class hurricane-proof yacht, it's always good to know what the owner's take on it is. First, the owner loves the ease of use offered by the 64. This not only applies to operating the boat effortlessly thanks to her 40 horsepower hydraulic bow and stern thrusters, but it also applies to the mechanical spaces themselves. Everything is easy to access and clearly labeled. The owner also loved how quiet this boat is when she's out running. This is a clear difference between the offshore Voyager and her competitors. Her low noise threshold is partially due to things like her underwater exhaust and the level of how everything fits together thanks to incredible Taiwanese craftsmanship. One last thing that the owner loved is the fuel system on board. Aluminum side tanks on each side of the boat feed the belly tank that provides fuel for everything else on board. This is done with a gravity-fed fuel system. The beauty of this system is that the boat is never out of sync in terms of fuel weight distribution, and the fuel is always circulating in the tanks below. These side tanks, by the way, hold 600 gallons of fuel to each side, and there's 400 gallons available in the main tank. That out of the way, we've got a lot to go over today, so let's get things started aft on the stern. There are a few standout features here on the swim platform. The first item of note are the 4 24-volt underwater LED lights that are lined up below the waterline. Additional light is found on the swim platform thanks to spreader lights found overhead in between a pair of rod holders. To port on the swim platform is a handheld shower as well as a freshwater washdown. These are hidden behind a hatch. The custom extended swim platform also has 4 stainless stanchions that are 2 inches in diameter and can easily be removed once at anchor. Centerline, there's a stainless swim ladder here at the swim platform that hides away into a deck hatch when not in use. Easily the most unique standout feature of this boat are the double wide transom doors that open up to tie the cockpit and swim platform together. Here, the teak carries forward underfoot as we step into the next area for us to break down. When I was talking to the owner about the boat, I asked about the name, Motoryacht LESTIQUE, and he told me that the name occurred to him when comparing this boat to others. His complaint about the others? Too much teak for no good reason. In his view, the outdoor guest spaces need just enough teak to appreciate. Located beneath the sole here in the cockpit are large insulated boxes underfoot that offer a ton of easily accessed storage. Next, I want to point out the removable windscreen that provides not only a calm experience on a windy day, but also offers shade to the area. What this means is on days like this one, you can put out this 48-inch teak table for an afternoon meal. To port, there's a deck storage cabinet with a covered sink and storage space. Even more storage is found opposite in this cabinet, but this side is also equipped with an aft helm that's got engine controls and thruster controls. Below this is where the 45-foot shore power cable is drawn by a Glendinning CM7 cable master. Right next to this, there's a stainless ladder that leads up to the boat deck, an area that we're going to come back to towards the end of today's walkthrough. With our attention turned overhead, we also see the Polk Audio waterproof speakers and lighting that are above the cockpit. Centerline and underfoot, we have a lift-assisted hatch where we have access into the engine room and lazarette. Facing aft at the bottom of the ladder, we see a huge storage area down here, as well as items like a 1,400 gallon per day water maker. Immediately forward of this is the engine room that has plenty of headroom and is cooled down by 2 Delta engine room blowers. In here we see a pair of Cat C12 Acerts, up to date with all of their services. These 715 horsepower engines offer this offshore 64 over 1,000 nautical miles of range. Outboard of the engines are a Northern Lights 20 kilowatt diesel generator, as well as a Northern Lights 12 kilowatt generator that work together to power the house. Forward of these are the boat's ABT hydraulic stabilizers, each of which is 9 square feet. Typically on a boat this size, these would be 6 to 7 square feet. They offer the boat a really stable ride in 4 to 6 foot seas. Running up both sides of this Voyager are walk-around decks with high bulwarks and non-skid underfoot. Moving forward, we pass one of the side entry gates that you use for getting on board the boat. A classic element that sets this area apart is the teak cap rail that converges forward on her crucial Portuguese bridge. Twin molded gates grant crew and guests access to the boat's ground tackle and seating area. Seating is molded in between the doors and has a seating pad that can easily be removed and stowed. Forward of the bench seat is a hatch that connects the bow with the VIP stateroom immediately below. Surrounded by a 1¼ inch thick, high stainless bow rail, the foredeck is equipped to handle the task at hand. Twin Mir 3500 vertical anchor windlasses draw an 80-pound and a 66-pound anchor with 300 feet of chain per side. The hull of the Offshore 64 Voyager features a modified semi-displacement design with an aggressive deep V bow entry and generous flare. At the bow we see a raised spray chine to help minimize wave noise up at the anchor. Other modifications to her displacement hull incorporated by the manufacturer include prop pockets that offer prop protection because of the keel extension. I've already mentioned that in my conversation with the owner about his favorite things on the 64, that the ease of use and fueling system were high on that list. His affection for this boat has led him to keep it in impeccable condition and in ship shape at all times. So, in an effort to keep the yacht in perfect condition, the owner pulls it out of the water from May to October, for the hottest months of the year. At this time, the boat is placed in dry storage indoors, meaning that this boat has never seen the heat of the Florida sun. Keeping in mind when the boat is used in the cooler months, and the fact that the boat heads up to the northeast during the winter, the interior of this yacht is crucially important. This is where you'll be spending a lot of time if you desire to explore the world. Stepping inside, you first feel the effects of a Marine Air 7500 BTU air conditioning and reverse cycle heat system. The Salon features a satin-finished cherry wood interior with crown molding and raised panel cabinetry throughout. A nice touch in the Salon are these Carpathian elm inlays seen over here on the port side by the TV. This 46-inch Samsung high-low TV was replaced in 2019 and ties in with the Polk Audio surround sound system overhead. These speakers and the lighting are integrated into a padded, soft vinyl removable headliner. Aft of the TV, we see an armchair and, more importantly, the wireless internet router. More seating is over on the starboard side with this built-in L-shaped settee with coffee table. From any of the seating options on the main deck, there are low, large windows that offer you sit-down visibility. Forward in the Salon is a dining table adjacent to a built-in storage buffet that's located on the forward bulkhead. Heading forward and taking 2 steps up from the Salon on the starboard side, we see the main deck dayhead, a great feature that changes your time on board. Forward of the Salon and adjacent to the dayhead is this yacht's raised galley that has granite countertops with fiddles added to the outer edge of the prep spaces. This well-organized galley has everything you need to make great meals and keep your food fresh. For cooking, we have a GE microwave convection oven overhead and a Seaward 3-burner cooktop with pot holders and exhaust fan just below. This rests above an oven. Facing aft, we see a GE side-by-side refrigerator freezer surrounded by storage. Across from the galley and just forward of the dayhead are two more important appliances: a warming box to keep hot food fresh and a U-line under-counter refrigerator. A beveled teak sole continues forward through the galley and into the wheelhouse, where we continue to see the same great carpentry found throughout the rest of the yacht. Let's first turn our attention aft, where we have a raised L-shaped seating area with a high-low table. There's storage below the seating for charts and maps or larger items like pots, pans, and appliances. Forward of this into port, we see the first of two watertight doors with access to the side deck. These were built to an intense standard. They're aluminum reinforced exterior doors with stainless steel door frames, assuring maximum safety. Facing the helm are twin stid seats that have polished stainless steel foot pedestals. These comfortable seats are just an arm's reach away from the wooden ship's wheel and all of the yacht's navigation equipment. First, we see three Nauticomp 19-inch daylight glass multifunction displays that tie the whole navigation system together. Below the port monitor is a Furuno NavNet 3D black box that feeds your navigation data into the multifunction displays. Found immediately forward of the wheel, we have a few more controls that include a Simrad AP28 autopilot with a wireless remote, rudder angle indicator, as well as switches that control your anchoring system and horns. Next to this is the control for the FLIR thermal camera found on board, as well as a searchlight control. Below these are the button pads that operate the NEC multifunction displays, as well as the engine ignitions. And then outboard to starboard are the engine controls, as well as the joysticks that operate the bow and stern thrusters. Looking overhead of the helm, in the brow, are a few other notable features like this boat's AIS system, centerline alarm panel, and twin ICOM VHF radios. Outboard of the helm on the starboard side, there's a winding staircase that leads down into the guest accommodations. Heading aft at the bottom of the stairs brings us to the master stateroom. The owner's suite takes up the full 18-foot 6-inch beam of the yacht and has a layout featuring a king-size walk-around berth with drawers and lockers beneath. On the starboard side, we find a bulk of the drawer storage below a hull-side window. Aft of this storage is the master ensuite head and shower. This bathroom has a marble countertop and a ceramic sink. Inboard, we see the frameless glass door of the shower that has a teak grate and a marble seat. Stepping out of the head and looking at the forward bulkhead, we next see a 26-inch LCD TV that drops down from the overhead. To port, we see a sitting area right next to a bookcase where you can read through a series on your longer trips up the coast. Aft of this is a walk-in closet. Immediately outside of the master, in the lower landing, we see a stacked washer and dryer that serves as this boat's laundry center. Heading forward from here and turning to the port side brings us into the bunk cabin, which is what makes this a great family boat. Over and under berths are along the aft bulkhead, where the top berth folds down to convert this area into a large sofa. This cabin is equipped with a cedar-lined hanging locker by the hull side window, as well as a TV on the inboard side, opposite the foot of the bed. Forward in here is the ensuite. The final cabin is the VIP found all of the way forward. This cabin has a queen-sized island berth with drawers below and storage to all sides. Like the other cabins, the VIP has a private head and shower. Wrapping up down here, we're going to finish today's walkthrough up top on the flybridge. We'll begin aft on the tender deck, which offers a variety of uses. If you're relaxing or entertaining up here, you'll be glad to know that the view is panoramic and mostly unobstructed thanks to the heavy-duty 1¼ inch stainless handrails on the boat deck that have welded stainless lifelines which encircle the space. Another safety feature up here is the two-tone non-skid that covers the entire upper deck. This comes in handy when it's a wet morning and you're deploying the tender over on the port side. The sure footing that you have and the tools that you have to do the job are reassuring. Here you can store your 14-foot tender with a 60 horsepower Yamaha 4-stroke engine on a removable tender chalk system. The tender is lowered and raised by a steelhead marine hydraulic crane with a 1,500-pound lift capacity. Aft on the boat deck is where we find a 6-person life raft that's right next to the cockpit access ladder. Next, we look to the hardtop, where we have the tools that help keep you connected. Up here, we see a Furuno 12 kW open array radar and a KVH M7 satellite receiver. Stepping below the hardtop, we enter an enclosed space surrounded by a 4-sided Lexan enclosure. In the port aft corner, there's a molded-in L-shaped settee and an upgraded high-gloss teak table. This table is 54 inches by 21 inches and supported by stainless posts. Over to starboard, we see molded-in cabinet storage with a sink, stainless isotherm 85 refrigerator, and plenty of serving and prep space. Finally, we see the upper helm in all of its simplistic perfection. This is a great place where you can run the boat with an unobstructed view of your surroundings. You and your mate can sit up here at one of 2 pomponette helm chairs and make your way to where you've always dreamt of going. If you have any additional interest in this yacht and would like to see her in person, you can reach out to broker Jay Rhoades for any additional information. On behalf of Jay and the Dennison team, thanks for joining us on today's walkthrough of LESTIQUE, the Offshore 64 Voyager. We'll see you next time.